Kevin. My name's Nar. I'm with Hollywood Babylon, and we have you on the air with our host, Marty Keegan, live from New York. Marty, can you hear Kevin okay?
Yeah, he's cutting out a little bit. Kevin, can you hear me?
You're breaking up a little bit, but I could hear that last sentence fine.
Okay, great.
We're on your. Well, you're a visual guy, Kevin. You're visual. You're not audio effects, so we understand the difficulty right out of the gate. Don't sweat it.
No worries.
Hey, listen. This should probably take you back to working with a Korean director. I'm guessing in the difficulties you had, where you guys were probably pointing at different things and pulling your hair out.
Exactly.
What the hell is that? How does that even work? I'm directing my first movie this year. The guy who's my technical advisor, I just walk around screaming, going, "That's not what I said." How do you deal with a guy who's Korean?
Actually, well, Director Bong and I met in San Francisco, and we discussed at length everything that he wanted the creature to do, and he had a whole bunch of storyboards. And he has a fair command of the English language, but when he was really passionate about what he wanted, we would have an interpreter. But we seemed to hit it off really well personally, person to person, as far as visual goals were concerned. And by the time I got to Korea, we kind of had things set up. We were very simpatico about what he wanted, what we needed at the orphanage to achieve his vision, and so it went rather smoothly, even on the other side of the world, with a different language.
That's great. How's the food over there?
Oh, it's awesome.
Really?
Really? Yeah. A lot of people don't, but I'm convinced that Atkins was over there before he wrote his diet book.
There's no overweight people over there, is there?
No.
Isn't that amazing?
No.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
I'm in New York City right now, and and I don't see any overweight people because everybody walks. They walk it off.
Yeah, exactly.
And plus, it's so expensive here. It's $9 for a bowl of oatmeal. You're not exactly loading up. You can't afford to eat too much.
That's so true.
Hey, listen, we've got a text board of people who are listening to participate in the show. People call in, they text in, and we've got Christopher is asking you a question. And he's saying that some people really feel that CG special effects are too cartoony and they miss the practical effects of the 70s and the 80s. Are these practical effects still a mainstay in the industry? And if so, what is the cost comparison between CG and practical effects?
Oh, it's a very good question.
We've got smart people. I need them, Kevin. They ask better questions than I do. I'm asking you about food in Korea. I'm a comic, man. I'm not a tech guy, but I'm doing the best I can. All right, go ahead.
Well, the practical effects are still, very strong in the industry. And with regards to the host, when Director Bong and I were looking at all the shots, there is a big crescendo at the end where there's a lot of contact with the creature. And he wanted to do it all CG. Every shot he wanted to do CG. And I basically convinced him that these series of 10 shots for the crescendo really needed to be practical. And so what we did is contracted John Cox Creature Studio in Australia, and we created a full-scale puppet of the creature's head. And so that way, for all the medium to wide shots and sometimes close-up shots with the CG, and for the close-up shots for the big crescendo, we used the puppet. And as far as cost is concerned, right now, as far as photorealistic computer graphics versus practical effects like puppets or animatronics, the cost is comparable. What you really want to do is decide which is best for the shot.
Right.
So basically, we're at that point where the decision to go CG or practical really depends on the shot rather than the cost.
Well, we have so many tech people and computer people. They're so excited right now to hear from you. I could have Robert De Niro on the show, and they'd be more excited to talk to you, just so you're aware. Should make you feel good. They're coming at me with questions. We got Freaky Friend, who is they're like personalized license plate. Everybody's got a handle. I'm just not in the game. I'm just playing Marty, but in the booth you've got Galactic Nar, and we've got Ryan Mighty, and on the board we've got Freaky Friend, who's from Scotland, and he is asking. Hey, listen, man, we're all over the place. Freaky Friend is asking the best visual effect you've ever seen in a movie.
The best effect in the host, or
in any movie. But you know what? If it was me, I'd pick something from the host. But that's me. I'm a self-promoter.
Yeah, well, actually, that's one of the things for the host. The best effect was actually the creature. That Director Bong wanted to introduce the creature very early in the film, and at high noon in broad daylight. And for creature films, that's kind of the holy grail, to make something like that really work and really be believable.
Right.
And so, when the main nemesis of the film is a computer-generated creature, of course, that needs to be the best effect. As far as supplementary effects to the film, we actually, she gets dumped with gas, she gets set on fire, and so all of that had to be CG as well. So we had CG smoke, CG fire, CG water CG interaction with the Han River, and our goal was to make all of that believable. And the biggest achievement there was right up front. We discussed this with the director and the cinematographer. We did not have motion control. We did not have blue screen. We just let them have freedom of camera movement that they wanted, and that was a challenge too. So that just wrapping all of that together just made those 125 shots in the host just really sing.
Now this film is kind of like, I'm sure I'm getting it wrong, but in my mind it's like a 2007 version of I want to say Godzilla, only from the standpoint of this is something that's terrorizing people, but just with great special effects and a better story and better directed, and there's a reality to it that really is terrifying, is what I'm being told.
Right. It's almost like Godzilla meets Jaws.
Wow.
Because it's a sea creature that is amphibian, so it can come on land, but its native habitat is the sea, which is kind of like Godzilla. But,
isn't it great just to make shit up? I just picture you guys in a room saying, "Well, let's make him amphibian. He can come on the land. He can do anything." It's a better action sequence. Yeah, that's great.
Yeah, well, one of the things that we did do is once we had the creature design, we were figuring, okay, she's grown up in the water and she's finally coming out onto land, and so let's make her clumsy for a while. When she's trying to use her feet and walk around, let's make her kind of clumsy because she's not used to it, and so that's
great.
Work that into the film. Yeah,
that gives it a little bit of reality.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's a real problem for me personally when I see some of these things and everything is a little too slick, because nothing works that way in real life.
Right. And Director Bong wanted things to have like a kind of a more gritty feel to it, which was a lot of fun. Right.
Now, we're getting questions here. We've got Prophecy in Canada, he's outside Toronto. He's asking if you've seen the 300, and if so, what did you think of the CGI? Have you had a chance to see it yet?
I have not. I've actually have not had a chance to see the 300. I was going to try and get there this weekend, but
I saw it.
Uh-huh.
I saw it, and I thought it was one of the best movies of all time, and I'm not Joe Comic Book. I didn't even know what it was about. I went in and saw it at a private screening, and it was industry people, and they gave it a standing ovation. I thought the effects were really amazing, and I know that your effects are as good or better than that. It's amazing where you guys have come on this. Haven't you seen a huge elevation in it's become a lot more seamless in the last 10 years?
Oh yeah, it has, and it's the competition out there has gotten a little bit more intense, because it used to be for the big shows it would be if you didn't go to ILM or Sony or Digital Domain, it wouldn't work. But there's a lot of talent out there. There's a lot of studios out there that can do really wonderful work. Like the Orphanage, who doesn't they don't have the same type of overhead as the larger studios. And so it's become more serious because everybody's vying for the same projects.
Yeah. Well, how does someone select you at the end of the day? Because there's a finite number of guys that are doing things at the level that you're doing, and you can only physically do so many in a year. So I mean, right. I would think that you've got people where you want them when it comes money time.
Yes and no. It all depends again on the project. With the host, although it was the largest budgeted sci-fi film South Korea's ever had, it's a very small budget in the United States Hollywood terms.
What was the budget?
But after meeting, the budget for the whole film was $11 million.
Wow, it's nothing.
It's not, and the CG, the effects budget was $3.5 million.
Wow, I mean, that's really amazing to me.
Yeah, it is. It's an amazing thing. And so after reading the script and meeting director Bong, to me it became more of a desire to work with these people and make this film, really a wonderful film. And so director Bong and the Orphanage and I got together and kind of worked it out from the inside out,
right?
Budget-wise, he had all of these shots, and we kind of worked them into, what are the easy shots, what are the medium shots, what are the hard shots, and what are the epic shots.
Right.
And we basically said for the budget you can only have so many epic shots, and so let's make them count. And so basically that's what we did. We went back and forth and looked at shots and figured out what is important story-wise and what is important visually, and we kind of massaged all of that into the budget. And that in itself has been a fun, creative process.
Yeah, well, which is par for the course on a lower-budget film anyway. I mean, it's always key to pick your spots, that you have the big exterior and fake everybody out. Now you go in interiors for 20 minutes, but you had,
Exactly.
You had some big visual that makes the project look big budget, and people don't recognize you're having conversations now at a desk.
Right, and also this film is also really has a really strong story. It's not, although it's a special effects, visual effects film, it's not driven by visual effects. Most of the big films nowadays have 800 and 1,000 CG shots. This one had 125, and they all really counted directly towards the storyline.
Where are you from, Kevin?
I'm actually one of the few California natives left.
All right, dude. Where did you grow up in L.A.?
Actually, I grew up in Northern California in a town called Los Altos, about 40 miles south of San Francisco.
Sure, I know Los Altos, but and you and I are getting along. That's amazing. Usually, NoCal guys are kind of bitter every time you talk to a SoCal.
Oh yeah, I know. I've spent half of my life in Northern California, half of my life in Southern California, and I love both parts of the state. I love the people and places there.
Where are you doing most of your work? Is it up north?
Gosh, wherever it takes me.
So you don't have your own studio?
I don't. I'm an independent contractor. I work with the Orphanage. We have an endearing term called permalancer.
Oh, nice.
So like a permanent freelancer.
You are every woman's commitment phobe dream. That's nice. Yeah. That's who you want to meet, the guy that they call the permalancer. That's great. Nice, yeah.
Kevin, we have another.
I was going to set you up with my sister, Kevin, until I heard that. Now you're done. All right.
Kevin, we have a couple great questions on the board for you, Kevin. One is, how is it different working on the host versus the Fantastic Four? I guess budget-wise, you have a lot more to work with. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Sure. Actually, that's great because I did just finish all the principal photography on Fantastic Four. There's a big difference in how bigger budget Hollywood films work and how something like The Host worked. Number one, they filmed, I think, on The Host, they filmed about 90% of the film on location, out at the river park at the Han River. And the crew is obviously non-union. They're a bunch of people who are film professionals in Korea, but they do things a little differently. They have the camera crew and the lighting crew, and the rest of the crew kind of like fill in the gaps wherever they're needed. I mean, even if the producer's walking along and he sees a need, he'll fit. And all these guys have this genuine, true like passion for filmmaking, and it felt like a family.
Huh.
On Fantastic and Fantastic Four, it's more of a again, by the end of principal photography on Fantastic Four, we felt like a family as well. But there's something a little bit different in that, we have all the unions there, and we've got your gaffers, we've got your grips, we've got the first ADs, we've got everybody who is doing their job in order to get something done most expediently as possible. And we did a lot of stage work there, a lot of green screen, a lot of location. So it's a much grander scale on Fantastic Four, and it works a little bit different with the the unions and specialists going in and surgically doing what they need to do. But both ways are achieve a great goal. But when all is said and done, my Korean experiences of my 25 years in CG, my Korean experience is up there in one of the peak experiences so far.
Wow. That's great to hear. And that comes out March 9th in a limited release here in the States, correct?
That's correct. It opens Friday.
Oh, great.
No, do you have a couple of those other questions that people are asking on the board?
Freaky Friend had another fantastic question for you, Kevin. What do you think about the difference in the Asian filmmaking experience as compared to American filmmaking experience, or just the films in general, the Asian cinema versus the American cinema?
I love them both. I think they both have their place. It's I think right now, especially in South Korea, an Asian film, South Korea is going through a golden age of cinema. They have some incredible directors and incredible cinematographers. If you are familiar with any of the Korean cinema, they're just all visually stunning. Let's see it. It's a good question because I'm actually off to I'm off to Hong Kong the week after next for the Asian Film Awards.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
Bring a translator, would you?
Pardon?
Bring a translator.
I will.
You're just going to be staring. You're just going to be staring at the screen.
I know, staring and nodding.
It could be worse. They could call somebody else off and you run up to the stage. Oh, sorry, misunderstanding.
Oh, that wasn't me, huh? Okay.
Yeah, that's right. Thought it was mine.
Well, thank you, Kevin, for spending your time with us this afternoon. It was very enlightening, and everybody here on the board and in the studio was very stoked to talk with you.
Oh, thank you so much. It was my pleasure to speak with you as well.
All right, buddy. Well, I appreciate it, and I look forward to meeting you.
Yeah, same here. I look forward to that as well.
All right, Irish. We'll talk to you later.
Okay, thanks a lot, Marty.
Bye, Kevin.
Bye-bye.
Wow, he's a busy guy, huh? You are listening to Hollywood Babylon on NowLive.com. We just got off the phone with Kevin Rafferty, the visual effects supervisor of The Host, which comes out on March 9th. He just wrapped principal photography on Fantastic Four Part D, Rise of the Silver Surfer.
The person who you're trying to reach.
And we are going to take a short break and come back to speak with Meyer Finigstein, the director of the Israel Film Festival here in L.A. that is happening in the month of March. So we're going to take a quick break, a couple minutes here of music, and we will be right back. You're listening to Hollywood Babylon on